Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So we have had a somewhat rough few weeks here in Houston. My power did go out for, I don't know, a couple days. It was pretty rough. So what it did give me was a chance to use my hybrid solar truck, kind of battery bank truck, generator, whatever you want to call it. So it did get super cold here. Here it got like 17 degrees, which is, I mean, for here it's cold. For us it's cold. That's real cold. And as you can imagine, most of our plants can't handle that kind of coldness. So you see the barren wasteland of my banana plants, which I'm not sure if these are gonna come back to life or not. So if anyone knows anything about these plants, well, look, I see some green. Looks like it's green. I'm assuming that's all right. Yeah, some people like covered up their plants and all that. I didn't do any of that because I'm lame. So I think I just need to chop these down, or I'll get someone to do it. But they all died. Like, this was all like okay looking before the cold, and now it looks like a wasteland. Like, it seriously killed everything. It was pretty amazing. And here we have my lovely truck. So what you're looking at here is a 2018 Nissan Titan. And what this is equipped with is 300 watts of solar panels. And I've had these, wow, these are probably super dirty. But anyway, just looking at the panels, it looks like everything's been good. I've had, like I said, I've had these on for about a year, and I've largely not touched them, but I do monitor and see that they work. There's a good view of those for you. So I made a video on this earlier, like last year or whatever, when I made it, when I put it in. Don't mind the mess, this is actually a functional vehicle. I use it. So you can see right now at the moment we are grabbing 29 watts. It's kind of overcast. We're not getting direct sunlight from the trees anyway. But not bad, 28 watts, that's a little bit. And what this controller allows you to also do is look at your energy usage, or generation rather. So how much energy you're generating each day. Like you see today, I've generated 350 watts. This month, I've generated 3.09 kilowatts. And total, since I've had the system for the year or whatever, 193 kilowatt hours have been added just from solar. One of the main reasons for doing that was I wanted to run a fridge in here all the time, and I didn't want to have to like plug it in or make sure I turn on the car every once in a while or anything like that. It stays largely at 100% most of the time. You see there's my little Vicron monitor. So what we got here, we have a Thor pure sine wave inverter hooked up to a total of 6 batteries plus the starter battery for a total of a little over 200 amp hours. When the power went out, what I was able to do was use this long extension cord and run that to my house. And with this 1000 watts, I was able to run my refrigerator, my security system, which is all my cameras and everything, my computer, and of course the charging and some lights and all that, which only totaled usually around like 700-800 watts at the most, assuming the refrigerator was running and all that. So this has been really good, and I think 1000 watts is actually an okay amount as long as you kind of manage it correctly. I put a kilowatt at the end of the plugs just so I knew how much power I was drawing from it. And through the Vicron app, I was able to actually check the status of the battery from my phone here, from inside the house. So I just kind of, I really should have a remote start for the truck, because then it would like automate the process a little bit easier. But I had to, anytime it went down, the battery got low, I just came out here and turned on the truck. But I just kept it running most of the time, because every time I would turn it off, the battery would only last for like maybe an hour or two before it would before I'd have to come out here and turn on the truck again. Of course, during the day, the solar did supplement it pretty good, which was actually impressive. I mean, as a whole, the entire thing actually really worked. One of the interesting parts about that, since of course I use my truck here as my generator, since it was so cold, I know a lot of people that actually have generators and they keep them in the garage or wherever they keep them, and a lot of people were having a hard time getting them to start because of the coldness. And of course, if you haven't checked it recently, like it was somewhat unexpected. People tend to lose their power in the hurricane season. So like right at the moment, no one was really planning on issues, I think. So a lot of people couldn't get their generator started, and mine, which is just the truck, fired right up, no problem. I know you're not supposed to leave vehicles idling for too long, but you know, whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I just need to change the oil. So the oil gets a little diluted with fuel, I guess. But not a big deal. I kept the truck running for maybe 24 hours of the 36 hours or so that I was out. And it just worked really well. Like, it's actually really impressive. I was able to run pretty much everything I wanted to run just from the truck. Now, the truck does have a 190 watt alternator, 190 amp alternator. So the one problem I did run into with this setup, which was kind of big problem, but I worked a solution pretty quickly. So this is the Victron, what is this called? Like a disconnect or something like that. Basically what it does is it monitors the my battery bank in the back, and if that bank drops too low, it disconnects it from the car's battery to make sure that this battery never gets discharged and, you know, will make the car not start. So they're kind of together but separate. And then when the voltage comes back up, so when this battery would get power again from the engine, then it would boost that back up. It would connect them again, and then it would start charging the system. But it's basically, this thing is just here to make sure this battery always has power. And so when it gets too low, it will disconnect. This is the same type of battery as the rest, so the system can work together, like they can equalize together. Like there was times it would just get too hot. And keep in mind, it was 18 degrees outside. So the solution really was to just, I just cracked the hood at first, like that. And then it actually started heating up again. So then I just opened the hood. And the reason why it overheated is, of course, the fact that the under the hood is too hot. So if this were located in the back, which it could be, I mean, obviously I have one of these 4-aught or whatever it's called, thick cables going all the way to the back. This module could have easily been located in the back, and it would have been kind of the same thing. This cable would have been the long one, and then the short one would have been on the other side. And in hindsight, that was probably a better idea. Yeah, so I don't really know what I'm going to do about this thing getting too hot. I thought it would be okay, and I actually bought the 220 amp version, even though it will never even see anywhere close to 220 amps, thinking that these big heat sinks and all that would, you know, keep it at bay from the high under hood temps, but it doesn't. So that was the only problem. So once I popped the hood, it was able to charge all the time, and basically when it overheats, all it does is it disconnects it. So it would just mean that I'm not getting power from the car, which if the car is running to give me power is kind of dumb. So whenever that happened, I just had to come out here and pop the hood, and then it was fine. So again, 18 degrees, so if it were hot out, that problem would occur much quicker, much quicker, obviously. So definitely something I need to look into. I don't know if I should get active cooling for it or just move it. I don't know. But again, when the car's running and when the car's driving, it hasn't been an issue. It's just, you know, sitting in this scenario, I've never actually had to run it for a real life situation, like we didn't have power literally. And this was the only problem I ran into. Other than that, it was flawless. And I was able to just pop the hood and make it work with that. But, you know, I would have preferred it worked just from the beginning. and this bad boy here. So as you can see, I did take it to the track at one point, I think a couple weeks ago, on these new tires, which are, what are they, Bridgestone S007As, and it just didn't, I just didn't run very well. Yeah, this car just needs, it needs to be on a good tire. Yeah, it's too much power. I mean, it's my dream to try to make cars work on crap tires, but it's been a real struggle. The best run I've been able to make in it is a 10.9, and you know, that's of course no traction, but I have fun making those runs. So I mean, I like struggling for traction. It's just something I've always done, and I have fun doing. So I'm not really a time chaser in the sense that some might be, but anyway, I will be taking this thing on the drag radials very soon, probably this week, to see what I can actually run with some decent meat. But that's just it for now for the updates. Of course, we'll be working on both of these vehicles soon, and just really happy with my truck here. It definitely saved us during the power outage. Like, it was awesome. Like, I just had power, and of course it's a pure sine wave inverter, meaning that it can run everything. Like, I have UPSs in the house, and I was able to just plug it straight into the UPSs, and it turns off the UPS. If you notice, if you have like an inverter or a generator that's not pure sine wave, usually certain things won't read the power correctly. Like if you try to charge your Tesla with it, I can charge my Tesla with this. Wouldn't charge it very well, but it would charge it. I mean, I could give it power, just not a lot, obviously. But it's still an option. If you had like a crap inverter or a crap generator that doesn't have like that inverter type circuitry, the power usually knows, like the UPSs will know that the power is junk and it's not right or whatever, and it just will continue drawing off its battery. And that's a problem. But with the pure sine wave, all the electronics or whatever just see it like the same as plugged into the wall. So that's a better way of going with it. And I did run my computer and everything on it, so I was glad for that. But anyway, it's kind of a long ranty video, but I just wanted to share that update on the power outage, because that was kind of a big deal for all of us here in Houston. And for those of the rest of you, I hope you were out there and you stayed warm, because we definitely got cold here. I'm not gonna lie, we got cold. It was cold. Like, the house was, I kept it like in the 60s, low 60s, high 50s, but that's still cold. We're not used to that kind of stuff. Like, just for everybody, like, yeah, you bitch baby. Like, we ain't used to that kind of stuff, man. We're in Houston. We in Houston. Anyway, that's gonna be it for now. Peace.
Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated. Weed is engaged in the pavement. Rubber escorts like I'm seeking arrangement. Push the gas, escalate the gauges, escalate hits on the cam girls.